Hello, welcome to Durrett's Take. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and shoot the second podcast for this week. There's still a lot that I kind of want to talk about that's been going on recently. We'll start off in football, both with college players and NFL players opting out. Um, it's obviously more NFL players opting right now than college, but it wouldn't surprise me if over the next few weeks, if we start to see more and more college players get opt out, or because of the petitions been going with the Pac-12 players making their demands to the league, and the Big Ten players now jumping on board and stuff like that, that they're going to hold out if they don't get their list of demands. Um, it could go towards an interesting situation. You can see a lot. There's already two stars that are most likely first round picks this upcoming draft. They're going to be out, so it's going to be interesting to see which more star players like that are going to be sitting out. Now, I don't feel like a Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. I don't feel like they're going to be opting out. It wouldn't surprise me because if I were them, they could just focused on the draft. But hey, but I don't see them opting out though, which that's still good because you do need at least some star players. But again, it won't surprise me if we see this become more and more of a trend. Now with the NFL, the deadline I believe is this afternoon on the players deciding if they're going to opt out or not. And there's definitely been a few star players, like for example, the Chiefs starting running back is opting out, but luckily they just drafted a running back from LSU. The Chiefs starting tackle, the Broncos starting tackle, 7 different Patriots players. There's just a lot of different people that are opting out this season. Luckily, while there's obviously a few star players or a few really good players that opt out this season, luckily the majority is not those, so we can still have a good quality NFL season. But again, if a player decides to opt out of whether it's college or pro, it's like I don't fault them at all. They want to be protected from COVID, or it could be because they want to not only protect themselves, but protect their family members and stuff like that. They just don't want to spread, basically. So I understand that they don't want to risk anything at all. And then on the NFL side, if you do opt out, apparently if you are high risk, then you get a stipend of $350,000. So you'll get some money from the season, and then which is not a lot. I mean, for an NFL player, but I mean, it's still money's money. I mean, I would like that money. And then if you're just a low risk and you're opting out, then you just get $150,000. But in the end, you still get money. Some other football news, real quick. So I just saw the other day that Dwayne Johnson and his ex-wife they purchased the XFL, which I am super excited about. I feel like the XFL was going pretty well before the pandemic hit. And while there weren't a lot of people for games per se, and while the ratings were more on the collegiate level of viewer ratings than like a typical NFL viewer rating, I feel like it was going pretty well. Now, unfortunately, there was kind of that one dominant team that we kind of saw because Houston was kind of the only undefeated team left when the pandemic hit, and it was kind of obvious. So I hope there to be a little bit more parity, but I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna watch it when it happens again. Now, the one concern and advice I do have for the XFL Dwayne Johnson is there needs to be better quarterbacks. Now, I know that they made different adjustments to where they can try to have better quarterbacks this season versus the past XFLs or the Alliance Football League or whatever. I I do commend them for that, but it's just like, yeah, the Houston's quarterback was good. And there's a few other decent quarterbacks, but it's just like it was all pretty much junk. So, and I know you're not going to get like the best players, but for example, like if one of the teams can just get like um, Josh McCown um, or if they can get what's that guy's name I'm thinking of? Oh, Brian Hoyer from the Patriots. The Patriots could just release him and he can go there or something like that way. You get a guy who has tons of experience in the NFL, good enough to be a star in the XFL, but not good enough to start in the NFL. But yeah, it's better to have like a person like a Brian Hoyer or something in the XFL than on the third string in the NFL. Like That's what I would kind of like to see in the future. Or you get a really good college football player that decides to go to a year of XFL first before going into the draft for the NFL. So, for example, let's say Trevor Lawrence decides, okay, after his junior year this year, he's done, but instead of going to the NFL, he's going to go XFL for the year. So that would basically be another senior year, basically, and then he would go to the NFL type of thing. So that's what I also wouldn't mind seeing, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I'm glad XFL is back, and I'm looking forward to it. So now I know this came out like around a week ago, so it's been a little bit while, but I haven't been able to get around to it until just now. But I read the top 100 players in the NFL this year that came out or voted on by the players. There's definitely some things I disagree with and some things I was shocked about or pleasant surprised with. But let's focus on just the top 10, and I'll share with you my agreements and disagreements here. So let's start off with Derrick Henry at number 10. So normally I would not have Derrick Henry in the top 10. I don't think he's a top 10 player generally, but based off the recency bias, I can see why he slipped in here into the top 10. And if that's what you're going off is recency bias, then I agree with him at 10. But if you're going off career achievements and stuff like that, or even the past few years, it's just like that's where I would disagree there. Because there's only one other running back on this list, and I feel like Derrick Henry right now is either third or fourth best running back. But in other years he's probably fifth and sixth, so he's definitely improving. But again, I'm fine with it for 10 for now. And then Stephon Gilmore's 9. I feel like this is correct. He's the best corner in the league. Only other competition there would be a Jalen Ramsey or a player of that caliber, but he's a good player. It's hard for a second defender, especially a person secondary, to make the top 10 here. So I feel like this is perfect for him. 8 is DeAndre Hopkins. So basically, he's labeled as the second best wide receiver because Julio Jones is, I think, right at 11, and Michael Thomas is above here. But and I actually agree, like, with the ordering here that Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins second, Julio Jones third. Now, it's not like all leaps and bounds; they're all pretty close to each other. But I feel DeAndre Hopkins being the second best wide receiver is appropriate, and I feel like the 8th spot is appropriate for him. George Kittle's 7th. Now, George Kittle is an excellent tight end, and I feel like in 5 years he will be the tight end of the league. But I'm still giving the edge to Travis Kelce as the best tight end in the league. So that's why I was surprised George Kittle was rated ahead of Travis Kelce. Did you not see what Travis Kelce did in the playoffs this past season? Now, George Kittle is used more for a blocking tight end, and he's a better blocking tight end, so maybe that's why he put up here. And George Kittle could definitely catch passes and be clutch and stuff, but I don't know, just like, and that's why recency bias. I mean, maybe George Kittle is the answer, but it's just like over what I've seen in years, especially this past playoffs, I would still put Travis Kelce as the best tight end. It's close though. 6, Christian McCaffrey. I feel like this is correct. You could. I feel like he's the best overall, one of the overall best offensive players in the league. So I have no problem there with being the 6. I mean, you could make a case he should be top 5, and for me, if he is top 5, I'd be like right at 5. But 6 is fine. 5 is Michael Thomas. Again, no arguments there. It's a fine spot for him. 4 is Patrick Mahomes, but I'm going to skip that for right now and talk about 3, which is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald kind of had a slow year by his standard compared to what he's used to, especially that year that they made the Super Bowl run. But nevertheless, Aaron Donald is still really good. He basically helped the Rams defense be at least somewhat average because, let's face it, the Rams defense was kind of so-so last year. So, but he made the defense respectable and stuff like that. So I still feel like he's a really good defense tackle. And now you see like Myles Garrett and Joey Bosa getting paid more than him now. So I think that's interesting. But I do feel like he deserves to be the highest paid defensive line player in the league. And then 2, Russell Wilson. I feel like that's an excellent spot for him. I'm glad he's getting the credit recognition that he finally deserves. Now he just needs to win an MVP, but that's another day, another time for that. And then 1 is Lamar Jackson. So now I want to talk about the Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson debate here. So for me, I feel like the players just disrespected Patrick Mahomes here. Now, I know Lamar Jackson won the MVP last year and deserved it because he played well in the regular season. I know he's an electrifying type of player. There's not a lot of people like him. But Lamar Jackson, when it came down to the playoffs against the 6 seed Tennessee Titans, stunk it up, and they couldn't win. Patrick Mahomes, well, he was slow against Tennessee to start off. He came back like he always does, and he won. Actually, by the fourth quarter, it was pretty much over. Speaking of comebacks, Patrick Mahomes made 3 comebacks in the playoffs, down 24-0 to Houston. At that point, you can just ride the ship there and call it good, because a lot of people would give up after 24, being down 24, and yet he gets the win. Tennessee gets the win. In the Super Bowl, down 10 against a very good San Francisco defense that was giving him fits because he was not performing well for most Super Bowl. He turns it on and he wins the Super Bowl. So Patrick Mahomes in his 2 full seasons, AFC Championship game lost to understandable Tom Brady, the Patriots, and as again they should have technically won, and then they win the Super Bowl next year. Lamar Jackson, 0-2 in the playoffs, and horrible performances in both games. So what? And plus, I mean, Mahomes' contract it just proves, like, a lot of people are comparing him to the Michael Jordan NBA type of thing. Like, he's just proven to be the best quarterback, not only best quarterback, but best player in the league. So I don't understand why Lamar Jackson's 1 year. And I'm glad Patrick Mahomes is taking notes on this because I feel like he'll prove everyone, and then he'll rise up to the number 1 spot next year. Now, Lamar Jackson's definitely a top 3 quarterback as of right now. And he's definitely a top 5 overall player, but he ain't number 1. Let's stop fooling ourselves here, players. Like, give Patrick Mahomes the credit he deserves here. So we'll have to see if Patrick Mahomes can use that as feel, because after winning a Super Bowl, it's pretty hard to find that feel because you get pretty relaxed and because, oh yeah, we're probably gonna win another one. Oh yeah, we can just coast on by. But like, this can be feel for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I'm gonna perform better than I did last year to show y'all again. Yes, I'm the best quarterback in the league. So that's it for my show today. I can't wait. Looking forward to speaking to you guys next week because I feel like we're gonna have a bunch of more news as the NBA would have played multiple games, but then still start to get like a better picture of who's gonna be in the playoffs and what seed type of thing. And I'm just looking forward to seeing if any last minute NFL players or college players decide to drop out over the next day or two. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens here. And then again, as I promised you, later on, I will go over my updated playoff predictions in the NBA. Actually, I'm going to do that right now real quick. So I have, actually, yeah, I'm deciding to wait till I'm gonna make you guys wait a little bit and wait until another day to do that. But thank y'all listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel. Let everyone know about me. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful weekend.